Hey everybody, so what we're doing today is we are going to be building our model rockets. We've got several different videos that go in progression and tell you exactly what you need to do in order to make that happen. Since you're going to be building it at home, we figured we'd make this to kind of help you through the directions because they can be a little tricky at times. So basically you came home with this today. This is your model rocket in this bag. Carefully cut it open. Do not cut anything as you're opening it. The main parts that you're going to need for this initial video are your fins. You're going to need this little tiny green tube. You're also going to need the body tube. And this is where the engine is going to be mounted inside of this. You'll need that as well. Inside this smaller bag that has the parachute, there is a little metal piece. I recommend literally just punching it through and sliding it out so you don't lose anything else that's in the bag. So you're going to want to pull that piece out. And one more thing from here is there is an elastic cord. The last piece that you may need is the nose cone. This will help us a little bit today. Also inside the bag, you have two sets of directions. One of them is English, and the other has several different languages. You don't need that other one, and they're exactly the same, just you won't be able to understand them most likely. So here are the English directions. And I am going to tell you that I will bounce around through the directions a little bit, although I will tell you what particular headings, what parts I'm going to be doing today so that you know exactly where we are. But we've just kind of figured out what order of assembling the rocket works the best. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare my fins. So basically you can either use an X-Acto knife or you can just very carefully pop them out. Be careful that you don't break them at all. And you will need a piece of sandpaper and just very lightly sanding the different edges of your fins. And that's really so that when it comes time for you to actually glue it onto the body of the rocket, it will be flat as possible. There won't be any nubs or anything that are sticking out. So just doing that. Also, we will be sanding these again a little bit further along on the leading edge of the fin so that we can break down on any kind of wind resistance on the way up. But right now I'm working on just kind of getting rid of any roughness that may be on the edges from the way that they were assembled. Okay, so I'm just going to do that a little bit more. You can do all three at the same time too if you kind of block them together. Sometimes I've seen students do that as well. Makes it a little faster. Okay, so I've got that done. My next step is I'm going to assemble my engine mount. So in order to do that, I'm going to need these three pieces, this green little tube, the white longer one, and this metal piece, which they call the engine hook. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is it does ask you to actually measure a certain distance down from the end. You don't have to get crazy with that, and just if you wouldn't mind coming just a little closer. What I like to do is I actually like to squeeze the tube and then just a little bit down from the top, I just cut a little tiny bit into it. It makes it a little easier to cut a slit like that. I go ahead and I take the L-shaped end of my little metal piece here and I stick it into that slot. And the very last bit is this green tube is going to go over the end and it's going to slide almost all the way down toward the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take that apart and just reassemble it again just to show you, and also because I do need to add a little bit of glue. So again, you're going to cut a slit toward the top. Easiest if you squeeze it and cut. You're going to stick this metal piece in here. For glue, I suggest putting glue in a medicine cup and grabbing a Q-tip and kind of just putting it around the edge. And then sliding the green smaller tube over the top can get it. There we go. And sliding it down almost to the bottom. Okay. The very last step that we are going to do right now is we're going to take our actual body tube of our rocket, and this is the part where the nose cone comes in handy. You're going to actually just stick it in one of the ends and kind of try and loosen that end up a little bit. You want to make that one opening a little wider because that is where this is going to be inserted, and you want to make sure that you have room to get it in, and there's plenty of room there. So once I've done that, I'm going to again grab my Q-tip and put a little glue around the outside of the green. And I am going to be putting it into, and this falls under engine, install engine mount section in your directions. Going to slide that in until the green is at the end here of the body tube, and I'm just going to squeeze, kind of help it to glue and wipe off any extra glue. So eventually your engine is going to be put here, and this will be the bottom of your rocket. Okay, so the steps we did today are prepare fins, we did assemble engine mount, and install engine mount. Okay, so please check back for video 2 to see the next steps.